Some of y'all are in marriages or relationships that are based on the good old times, based on the memories of when you first met, of when you were first together. And now you're still stuck in this relationship, but you're not with the same person that you actually fell in love with. What do I mean by all of this? It actually started with a dream that I had a few nights ago. So a few nights ago, I had a dream that I was in a room and I was hanging around and doing things over a time frame, whether we was in the room, driving someone around, going to meet up at places, being at this old restaurant and store that doesn't exist anymore in my neighborhood where I grew up. But I was doing all these things for this person who used to be one of my best friends. And as I was doing all these things, I was realizing how much of the person that they are today, how many things have changed from them that I don't necessarily like nor agree with, and how in today's world, we could never recapture and be the best friends that we were back then. Sure, we could hang around each other right now. We can have conversations to a certain extent, but there is absolutely nothing about them nor about me that could recapture what we were back in the day. That was my brother. There was nothing that I would not do for them. I used to do more for him than I would do for my own brother at the time, especially at that time frame, because I didn't even like my brother at that time frame. He was mean to me. But now me and my brother are having that type of relationship, so I'm grateful for that. But when I woke up from that dream, one of the things that I realized is that oftentimes we hold on to relationships simply because of what a person was to us in the past, what they were to us when we first met, how we were during those 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years when everything was wonderful and great. But as time has went on, people change. Every experience that you have changes who you are. Every experience that they have changes exactly who they are. And oftentimes we're stuck in relationships where we're not with the person that we fell in love with. We're just comfortable with the person because we once were in that situation with them. This is one of those problems of when I see people go back and date someone that they had a crush on in high school, had a crush on when you was living over here in your 20s or 30s, and now you're 40 and 50, and you think that person, oh, I want to get with that person. You're remembering who they were then. You're not seeing who they are now. And unfortunately, oftentimes in relationships, the life experiences that we have changes each individual person. And if you haven't been in a mode where you have changed together, then oftentimes you're just staying with the misery that you can deal with because of the memory. You're still in love with the memory. I have to say, every time I've been to one of my class reunions and I see young ladies that I liked back then, I realize I wouldn't like them now. When I scroll on Facebook and I see people that I thought were matching up pretty well with me 20 years ago, I know we wouldn't match up now. If you allow yourself to get caught up into those traps, you'll go and start to date someone who you used to know, and it won't match up. But the worst part is when you allow yourself to be in a relationship with someone who, when you first met 20 years ago, you guys matched up perfectly, you were great. But then you've had life experiences. You had so many bad times with each other that so much stress has been placed within the relationship that you're not the same, they're not the same. It's not working. It's simply not working. You hold on to those memories. You sit back and you say, well, I remember when he used to date me all the time. He was so romantic and he used to surprise me. We used to go on these vacations together. We used to. When the used to start to be 5, 6, 7, 8 years plus back, you're not with the same person anymore. Because if you can't look back and say that, oh, last week, oh, last month, oh, the other day, you're not with that same person. You're with somebody totally different. And you have to ask yourself, is this someone that I would be with? On another video, I told you guys a story. I'm going to tell you a little bit of that story again, just to emphasize this point. You see, when I got divorced from my kid's mother at 36, 37, I rushed into a relationship, a marriage, about 2 years later. The young lady that I had married at the time frame, for the first year and a half that we were together, she demonstrated everything that I would love about having a woman, having a wife, everything. She was on point. Unbeknownst to me, a mutual friend had told her everything to do, say, dress, act in order to please me. So after a year and a half, I started seeing differences, changes. The way she acted, the way she dressed, her active level, her sexual level, all these things started to change. Started going to counseling. And after about 4 years of counseling, she said to the counselors, I thought I was going to be a certain way when I got married, but I'm just not that person. They asked me, with all that you know about her now, the person that she is now, would you marry her? I said, no, I would not. The young lady who was part of the couple's counseling asked, would I even date her, or would you be willing to date her? In my mind, I know that she was going for the idea that, well, we can start over with the relationship. But my answer was the same. She is not even someone that I would date. So invariably, that pretty much ended the relationship. About a month later, I let her know that we are getting divorced. It's just no reason to continue. No reason to continue. And there was a reason why a month later that was said. Basically, and since I'm very transparent, she had tried, because the counselor told her, well, she needed to get back to being the person. And she was trying for about 2 weeks. And then about 2 weeks later, and then after the 2 weeks, she went back to her normal self, which is who she truly is, which is what she should be. And then she came to me and said that I need to try harder to make her feel like she wants to be that person. I'm not here to change you. I'm not here to change anybody. But if you're with someone right now and you're only with them because of the memory of who they used to be, ask yourself the question, the person who they are right now, would you date them? The person who they are right now, would you marry them? If the answer is no, then y'all should go definitely get some counseling, definitely get some coaching. But if neither party wants to make the adjustments in order to rekindle the love that you fell in love with, or create a new love based on who you are today, that relationship should come to an end. That dating should be over. That marriage should be over. And trust me, everybody will be okay, because you get to go off and be your true, authentic self. They get to go off and be their true, authentic self. You just have to remember that if there are children involved, that you must always work together as parents. But beyond that, there is no reason for you to live the rest of your life in misery with someone that you wouldn't even date. It's hard. Most people don't have the courage to step up and do that. So I hope you can find the courage somewhere if you're in that situation. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.